Who wants to recap?
I can do it. No, I can't. I
Yeah.
wasn't here.
I can
Well,
do it.
all right.
All right. So basically, we head off on our ship to uh, head over to Welfordshire to try and save Kaylee's brother's ass from getting beat by some fiery people. Um, so while we are on our way, first couple days are pretty good. No issues. Suddenly, in the middle of the night, we get attacked by two members of the Ashen Way, who attack. I mean, they attack the ship. They stop us dead in our tracks. Roland, Yessa, and Skyla kind of get into a tussle with them. Before we can do anything, they kind of poof off, and one of them shattered a potion on the floor that pretty much put everyone to sleep except Skyla and Roland.
Who is this Roland you speak of?
Roland is our new member. Well, not quite member of the party yet because we haven't all met him yet, but new person in the game who is a wild magic sorcerer. And he knocks himself out, and Skyla is alone on the ship, stuck in the middle of the ocean, freaked out by herself, basically. She ends up being able to wake up Roland because he's not knocked out by the potion. But the ship is magically stopped. Everyone is magically asleep. And now we have a wild magic sorcerer and the least magical person in the group trying to figure out what to do.
Fun times.
Anyone else want to add anything?
Um. I get. I mean, this isn't kind of all the humans of Sapphire City got real excited about the light show the other night. And there was a bit of a send off in that, which probably isn't relevant to what's going to happen this session, but it was a pretty big moment.
Yeah. No, agreed. That was
Definitely.
pretty solid. Good ad. Yeah, they seemed pretty intent on figuring out what happened and questioned the members on the boat about it, specifically Nessa. But so, okay, we have we last left off with Skyla and Roland aboard the boat, which again is at full mast, straining against the wind from the storm that is blowing in behind them, because your expert navigator had charted to ride this and gain a little bit of extra speed, essentially. Straining frozen solid in the water as hail and lightning and rain begin pelting down on the ship. Laid out on the deck are all the members of the crew, including Nyessa, Corin, and Kaylee. After some time, Fox, who was there helping in the fight, disappears and leaves Skyla alone with just Roland. What do you guys want to do?
So last time we were talking about breaking the portholes inward so that we could air the place out but be able to mend the portholes later. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is get on my carpet and take my war pick and just start breaking glass into the ship.
Okay. All right. So you are you using rope to like lower yourself down, or how you do? Are you using the carpet?
I'm using my carpet. Yeah.
Okay. So as you fly on down the side, you take your war pick and you begin just kind of shattering the glass. And as you do, these kind of plumes of this kind of noxious fumes start kind of puking out of the portholes, venting the bottom of the ship. It almost seems like there's no end to this, that it just seems to just constantly just fill up whatever space it's in. You take some time to do that. It doesn't take you terribly long, but you eventually make it all the way around the ship. And admiring your handiwork, it seems to have helped a little bit, but the bottom floors are still basically flooded. At this point, the first edge of the storm is now catching up to you. The wind is whipping up against the ship. The spray is kind of hitting it like a rock in the water. The ship doesn't move whatsoever, but the water around it just surges up and kind of comes over the side, and you can see arcs of lightning just in the distance as the meat of the storm is getting closer and closer.
So now that we've dragged everyone out, we should probably drag them all back in.
Let's do it.
Okay. We don't have Fox's help this time, so it's just us.
Okay, so are you guys waiting? How long do you want to wait, or are you trying to get them inside? Let's see.
The magic carpet should be able to help us do this.
Well, it's not completely aired out.
Oh, I thought the
Just
top
yet.
level might have been. Is it not?
It's not. So, the captain's quarters is probably clear, which you guys have been using for a conference room.
Okay.
So you could drag them in. Essentially, the bottom floor is still basically all flooded out.
Okay.
So so just so we're all on the same page, there's 3 levels to the ship. Basically, it's kind of got that like just standard design of the 2 stairwells that go up to where the helm is. Underneath the helm is the captain's kind of quarters that has like the windows around the backside for that nice view. And then there's a set of stairs that go down into the hull to where the crew all sleeps and some storage. And then there's another level that you take a ladder down into that holds, just like provisions and stuff they can get down there.
So how can we air this out faster?
You can get them into the captain's quarters. Captain's quarters is fine.
Oh, okay. We'll just pile all the bodies in one room.
Okay.
Yes.
It's gonna be cozy.
As you guys are like keeping an eye on your progress, you figure that if nothing changes, the storm's probably going to be on you full tilt within an hour, and within probably 2 or 3 hours, the bottom portion of the ship will be completely evacuated of gas.
Okay.
Could both of you though give me a basic perception check?
TTMS, sorry.
Yep.
Rolling. It's way worse. It's okay.
Skylar?
Sorry. My sheet wasn't up yet.
Okay. As you guys are doing this and going over it, Roland, you kind of just like, it doesn't really strike you at first, but as the wind is starting to pick up and the storm gets closer and closer, you know that the hull of the ship, that you guys aren't moving, but the mast and the sails are still at full tilt, and the mast is starting to. It doesn't look very stable or secure.
Okay.
It doesn't look safe at the very least.
I think we need to cut down the sails.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Is there a certain spot to cut?
Well, there are ropes. I don't know.
Are they just gonna fall down? Or are they gonna blow away?
I don't.
I don't know.
I'm not a sailor. I don't know.
Me neither. I don't know.
You guys make a sailing check. No.
We might lose. I mean, we might lose the sails, maybe, but we can try to pull them down. As you just, if they stay here, the mast might topple over.
So I'll ask this: what would you guys say is your characters, due to their background, is their familiarity with ships, sailing, things like that, beyond the basic knowledge of wind makes boat go?
I mean, mine's pretty much what it is right now. The same. Like, I don't think that I would know how to tie them up, like roll them up. I don't even think that I would have the physical strength to do that just on like the two of us. So like, it's drastic, but I think. I mean, I cutting them down. Number one, I don't know that we can actually wrangle the sails once they're loose in this wind. They might just fly away, and we might not be able to pull them down. But I don't know what else we can try here. I think we're going to lose the mast if we don't do something.
Okay. If both of you just give me a straight intelligence check.
That is the most perfect Skylar roll ever.
Okay, so you guys are cutting the ropes that are holding the sails on, essentially, right?
That's the idea.
Okay, so how are you guys doing that?
I mean, we could. There's a time crunch, so I'm not sure how much what we could reasonably do in this time. But what if we felt like we had the time? Having a couple ropes connected to like the bottom part of the sails, tied to something anchored at the bottom where the deck, and then cutting loose all the different moorings across all the I don't know what these are called, but the cross beams or whatever, just like all those stitches, and then hopefully it's still connected to the deck. We might lose it anyway, but I'm not super. I don't even know what type of sails these are, to be honest, but. I think like using the magic carpet again, starting at the top, cutting the ones at the top, and then trying to like pull them down, I guess.
Okay. So as you guys are going through and cutting them, I'm going to say that based on your intelligence checks, there's a lot of rope, there's a lot of rigging. You go for the ones that you can tell are holding what looks like the bulk of the sails on there. You begin hacking at one, the wind immediately picks it up and almost pitches the carpet sideways, knocking whatever you're using to cut it out of your hand. It kind of goes scattering down onto the ground. Retrieving that, coming back up, you begin cutting more and more. As you're doing this, the mast is creaking, and you can almost hear the wood starting to strain in it.
We could just do. That would be a much smarter idea.
As you're doing this, kind of with a sense of urgency, not wanting to lose the mast, you just begin hacking away almost randomly at whatever cables are holding on. Eventually, the sail gives one final snap in the wind. The last rope that's holding it on breaks free, and you see the main mast off into the storm.
The mast or the sail?
Or sorry, the sail, the main sail. The mast at that point kind of back from the pressure, and the boat kind of settles back a little bit. The strain of the wood and everything stops, and you feel like it's probably not going to break at any point in time soon, but you have lost the main sail of the ship, so most of your go power is gone for the time being.
Okay. So that's the only sail that we have to worry about?
You think, just judging by the strain that was taken off of the sail, you figure that it's pretty good.
I don't know what else we can do.
Okay. Are you guys doing anything with the members of the crew? Are you checking on them? Are you doing anything? You've already tried basically slapping them, and
we tried violence in medicine
and pouring water on them. So is there anything else that you wanted to do?
I can only do more violence. that's all I got. So, yeah. I don't have anything.
Did you try defibrillation?
I think that is what. All right, so you're the doctor. What does defibrillation do when a heart's still beating just fine?
That's bad.
Does it stop it?
It's very bad.
Because what I know from comedy, it stops the heart.
It's possible. It's very possible.
Depending on how long. Well, okay, we've gotten the sail down. We have the people inside. Skylar's gonna eat a cinnamon roll. She's
Okay.
gonna share with Roland.
Okay. And in the meantime, you guys are just gonna wait it out.
What else can we do?
That's what I'm asking. I mean, if your characters want to just wait it out and ride out the storm, that's on you. That's fine.
Oh, I do have an herbalism kit, but I don't know that that comes with proficiency. I don't know that I would. No. Can I roll? Can I roll like a do I even have? Oh, I do actually have medicine check. I have medicine proficiency, and I have proficiency with herbalism. Is there just like a roll that I can do to see if I would try something like, smelling salts or something like
ahead.
that?
Go ahead and give me just a straight medicine roll. I'll say with advantage because you have the herbalism kit.
Okay.
Okay. So after you go through and kind of getting them inside, out of danger, you have a second to kind of breathe. You go back over them again, and as you begin kind of examining them, you start to realize that their symptoms, just the dilation of their eyes, the state of their breathing, their kind of like mild fever that they all seem to be running they all seem to have some sort of like mild poison that's coursing through them right now. It doesn't seem to be enough to like do them damage, but definitely enough to shut them down, essentially. I will say that with that roll, you figure that you could probably work something up that could revive, I'll say 2 people out of the whole crew.
Okay. I would
You can make
start
a basically like a salve that you could pick some people up.
I would start with Nessa.
Okay.
Right. I don't know the people in the crew, so I'll probably ask her who else should I check, like, wake up. But I'm gonna start with trying to. Oh, am I a salve maker?
Salve maker.
Salve maker multi-class. Yay!
So you go ahead and you basically make this kind of like very crude poultice. And you basically pop open the mouth and like swab this nasty kind of crushed up goop inside. And as you do, you see some of the life kind of start to return to her face. And after maybe 10-15 minutes, your eyes flicker and pop open. You don't feel good. You feel very sick. You feel like you are on the verge of like nausea, and you're very weak and kind of have the energy drained out of you. So you have 1 point of exhaustion.
Where are they? Where did they go?
They pooped
they are
right
gone?
out.
What happened?
It's been hours, Nessa. There's a huge storm. We had to take down the sails. We kind of lost one. And there's hail and lightning. There was a lot of things going on, but everyone except Roland and I were asleep. And it's
Bribis,
been
get
hours.
Bribis. Can we wake him up?
I can only wake up one more person.
I don't know how to sail.
Okay. So just to recap, Nessa, as you wake up, the boat is not moving, but you hear the storm thundering and kind of coming on pretty heavily outside. You can hear the ocean slamming into the hull repeatedly, but you don't feel any motion under you. The boat is still, for all 3 of you, just so you're aware, the boat is still frozen solidly in place.
Yeah.
I have nothing to help with this.
I think that they use some sort of magic to hold us in place. But I don't know what else we can do other than wait out this storm.
I even went swimming to try to figure out if there was something in the way. It was scary down there.
Do I need to roll to know if I've heard of this sort of thing? Magic thing?
Are you
I think
proficient
I-
in Arcana?
I am
rolled.
not.
Okay, yeah. Roland
Did I roll that last
roll.
time?
Yeah,
So
Roland.
I would impart that. I would
Oh.
just pass that along.
Yeah. So basically, what Roland vaguely remembers, it's not 100%, but vaguely remembers that especially like in wartime, which a lot of this knowledge has kind of fallen out of um, circulation because a war hasn't happened since the Maelstrom Compromise, thousands of years ago. But in times of war, in order to like blockade and embargo ships, military vessels used to have what were called anchor tokens, and if they were touched to a ship, it would lock it in place for up to 24 hours, basically just dead in the water. And I believe that Roland and maybe Nessa, but you wouldn't have known what to look for, saw one of the
Oh, I
members
did.
holding something in their hand.
Oh,
It looked like a small trinket, maybe on a necklace or something like that.
Right. I think I was the only one who saw that. So, realizing this, I'm gonna get up, shakily, probably lean on my weapon like you're not supposed to do, and I'm gonna go back down to the room where we fought, if I can.
Wait, is the
Smoke
gas
gone?
still down there?
The gas is yeah, no, the gas
Not
is still there. It's a lot clearer, but it's still there enough that you'd probably have to hold your breath.
I can go in too if you think you know what it might look like.
They were carrying some things. Besides the bottle that broke and made all this happen, they had some charms in their hands, some things. I was going to get it out of their hands, but then I don't remember what happened. I guess I got knocked out.
Is there anyone else you'd like me to wake up while we're talking?
I mean, Bribis I think he's the best sailor. We have some able-bodied sailors, but I think Bribis probably know the most.
Yes, it's a wonderful idea. Which one is he?
He's the druid, the one you were talking to who let you onto the ship at all.
I'm terrible with names. Sorry. Yes. And
Okay. So after about 10 or 15 minutes, Bribis's eyes kind of flicker open. He looks around, a little panicked about exactly where he is. What's going on?
Oh, Bribis, I feel you.
Well, some people boarded the ship. They stopped the ship with magic. So we can't move for who knows how long. Everyone was put to sleep with a potion. It's been hours since it happened, plus the hours that we were already sleeping. And there's a really bad storm, and the wind was making that big wood thing break, so we cut down a sail and it flew away. Okay, I'm gonna go look for the trinket now. Bye.
I'll come with
He
you.
kind of sits up and just like starts rubbing his temple. Can we get the rest of them up? Can we get the crew?
No.
I only had enough for the two of you.
And we can't move?
Wait, is that just the ingredients that you need?
That's between the resources that you guys had on hand. That's all you guys can make.
Because I also have the herb poison kit.
Yep. So he basically asked, so we're not moving? We're stuck here?
They do some sort of anchor token, but we do not think it's still on the ship.
Okay. Well, I don't know what much help I'm gonna be. I can't really sail a ship that's stuck here, but...
Great. Skylar, let's do this. Hobbles.
Hold your breath.
Do we know if there's any more of them on the boat?
Well, they left.
Oh, I do not know where they came from.
I don't even know how they got here, but they're not here now.
We have to get the gas out
Yeah.
from the underside of the ship, the inside, whatever that's
Captain,
called.
is there any way that we can ventilate the bottom of the ship?
Let me just double check really quick here. Yeah. So Bribus, me just try and concentrate here. That really takes it out of me. And he,
Was it even just safe? Are we safe here, or should we even bother trying to get to the bottom?
just give me a sec. And he kind of gets up shakily and makes his way over to outside onto the deck to the staircase that leads down. And he kind of just rubs his hands together and he begins kind of murmuring in that weird kind of chant that you've heard Corin use before. And then he opens up his hands and a powerful blast of wind emanates out from him down the stairs. And you see this black smoke kind of forced out of the portholes that you guys have broken open as he casts gusts of wind and basically forces air into the boat below. He is a druid.
Yeah,
I know,
like,
but-
I appreciate this.
Dang!
Dang, boy. Where you been hiding them skills? And now I'm gonna go down. Back to the room.
Gus.
Oh, yes!
Gus.
Oh, I missed her. Hope she's okay. And I'm gonna go look for the things that I saw.
All right. So you go down into the room. How long does web last, or is it concentration?
Let me check. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
Also, I need to figure out why it's not showing my spell slots.
I have no clue.
It's concentration up to an hour.
Okay, so when you went out, the web would have
I think
dissipated.
it's been an hour at least.
Yeah.
And I
so,
went unconscious. So definitely, yeah.
So you go down. The webbing that you saw all over the room is gone. Kind of just magically disintegrated. It's still in shambles. You see, some like broken glass on the floor. Picking through the remains of whatever was on the ground. You know, bits and pieces of Roland's livelihood, basically, is what was scattered about the room. You don't seem to come across that token, and as you're kind of thinking on it, you remember one individual kind of dropping the glass vial. The other individual had the token in his hand, and he teleported out.
Oh, yeah. Well, this was good. Good. Great. Awesome.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we can do to weather the storm?
Bribus basically says we can take in some of the other sails, but I don't really know what's going to happen if we're just locked in place here for the remainder of the storm. I've never dealt with something like this before.
And we have
There
to
are
get
life
moving.
preservers.
We
I
have
mean,
to
we're
get
not-
moving.
We're not rocking, so I feel like I don't know. I guess other things could come towards us and hit us.
But we're losing time, especially if we've been stuck here for hours already.
We are losing time, but we will have our lives, and
But
there will
Connell
still be.
won't.
What?
Well, that's his fault.
I'm sorry. Who is that?
Oh yeah. We're on a mission to save lives, is what we're doing, Ronan. That's why we went out in a hurry, and all of that. So we need to get on our way.
I am 100. I understand.
100.
But first, we let's save the lives here, and then we save the lives there.
The lives here look pretty safe to me. We just need to get moving. I don't know. I'm just gonna start moving around the ship.
Just
I'm
like,
just-
Okay, well,
Like, I'm gonna
one of the
start-
things that Roland came up with last time, but doesn't have the ability to try, is that possibly a dispel magic spell.
do you have any way of? Do you have that capability?
Cool.
Sorry, Roland doesn't know you.
No, it's fine.
You
It's
guys,
just-
I mean, you wouldn't know what spells he had prepared anyways, but I don't think Corin's ever used dispel magic ever.
But I do have it prepared.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've never unmagicked things. I've only magicked. In fact, that's another story. But
I've
I'm
never
gonna go.
magicked.
I'm gonna go down the ship and look
It's
at
got us
stuff.
ups and it's got us downs.
Okay. So if you guys are going and searching the ship or doing anything like that, go ahead and give me an investigation roll.
Don't be dumb, Nessa.
What are we searching for?
I'm looking for like evidence of stowaways where they might have teleported to, like if they teleported completely off the ship into shore somehow.
I can help
Okay.
with that.
Okay, so Skyla and Nyessa, you guys make your way down into the bowels of the ship. At one of the ladders leading into basically like this lowest level of the ship, where you found one of the able-bodied soldiers that was knocked out. You go down the ladder and you find 2 crates that were brought on the ship, supposedly that had dried food, basically dried meat, and they were broken open, and it looked like there are some sort of like handle mechanisms on the inside to open it up from within.
How dare they? Grr.
Okay.
I don't know what to do with that information.
I just don't know what to do.
I think we just wait out this storm.
Okay,
I don't think there's anything else we can do.
Roland, what was in that poultice you made to wake us up?
Well, it was arrow seeds.
PTSD.
It was.
I can't remember
just
the
kind
other
And
of-
thing.
feverfew?
Feverfew. Yes, you did it.
This one is very kind of rudimentary. It's sort of like antitoxin, but more of like a homeopathic version. It's not as powerful like as pure antitoxin. So it was kind of just like mixing a couple things together to kind of combat the symptoms, which is why you're still sick and feeling kind of under the weather. You don't have what it takes to make any more than you've already made, though.
So if I tried to like, I don't know, healing word somebody, I don't think that would work.
You were already healed by Skyla, I believe.
Oh, you healed me?
Did I?
Well, you patched her up.
Oh, right. I used my herbalism kit to patch you up. Because
I
you
thought
had
you
actual...
I thought you
Whoa.
used the
Oh, the healing potions, that's right.
healing potion.
Oh, so I'm at full
Haley
health.
and Alec, or Corn, you both had healing potions, and Skylar stole them? She feels awful. But she
What?
had to save people's lives. Okay, sorry.
So am I at full health, or I don't know. It doesn't matter.
We did that last time. So you were already healed, but it didn't counteract the effects.
Right, but so am I at like 43 health still, or no?
You were at whatever you were at. 43, I believe is what you're at.
Cool.
Waiting it out.
I could cut holes in this ship. I could battering ram doors
Stop
down.
cutting holes in the ship.
I am very useless in this situation.
Next, you're gonna be lighting a fire just because you're panicked.
I'm gonna set this ship on fire.
All of our friends are sleeping on it. Please don't do that.
I'm not gonna do that.
If we set the ship on fire, then it could be a signal to a rescue ship.
I will go down with this ship.
Literally. I mean, I could write a one-way letter to a professor in Sapphire City, but I don't think he could do anything about what's happening right now.
you just write blah 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 blah.
Exactly. Help, stuck in middle of ocean. Please save.
No coordinates. No nothing.
Nope.
Go kill
Okay.
all the Astaway, break the thing.
As
See,
you guys
now we're
are-
all personally invested in revenge, so this is great.
So as you guys are kind of busying yourself with things to do, you see Bribus kind of come back up from below deck, and he's got in one hand 4 mugs, and in the other hand a very dark, dusty-looking bottle with a cork in it, and kind of sits down at one of the tables in the captain's quarters and says, I mean, if we gotta wait, we might as well wait. Maybe the effect will wear off, or one of your friends will. I mean, I've seen some of them pull off some amazing things back in Green Hills, so they might have some answers. And meanwhile, he and starts kicking it back.
Do we still have any of that bottle that we got from Chandler?
The fire.
Yes.
Fire?
I think that Kaylee had that.
I actually have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do I happen to know if Corin's Any Mug is based on attunement?
You don't know. Corin's never really, sat down and said, "Hey, look how this thing works."
You're just gonna rifle through all of our
I'm
friends.
gonna go and find it and see if I can make it make antitoxin.
It doesn't make anything magical, but you can try.
Dang it. Dang it!
Skyla's gonna
How
go
about
into
activated
the bag.
charcoal to absorb the poison that's in their system?
Does Nessa have a medical degree?
She does not.
I've
In
brought
fact,
the
her medicine is
description up
+0.
on stream if you want to read it.
Oh my
Well,
gosh.
Skyla's gonna stick her hand into the bag of holding and get the fiery brew
Okay.
and get Bribus to drink it and hopefully belch.
Okay.
Go ahead and make a persuasion roll, Skyla.
Bribus, this is really good stuff. We won it in a drinking fight and it was really delicious and you should try some.
Literally has the word fire on it.
In Dwarvish.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Just pouring it into a mug.
Just pouring it on in, huh?
Chop that off.
It's really good. It's really strong. You like it.
Well, we are stranded.
I'm just double checking real quick here something before I do this, because I'm pretty sure that Bribus speaks Dwarvish.
Oh no!
Purpose
Yeah.
like holding the label.
Here, let me pour this for you.
Yeah. So as you're holding it, Bribus is like, "Oh no, I swore I'd never mess with that stuff again. Had make that mistake once." Mm.
I can understand that.
I'll drink it.
I'm gonna go back to my room and don my armor and just put all my weapons back on.
It's just ready now.
It's just the ritual, man. I have
Okay.
to get ready.
So as you guys are basically riding this out, the storm kind of gets worse and worse. You hear large chunks of hail battering into the ship. You feel the entire hull shake with waves that you swear would, break down and break through the wood. More than once, water seeps in, and I mean, even sitting in the captain's quarters, you guys get visibly wet up to your thighs from waves just kind of splashing in, and then the water kind of rushing out. It's pooling up in the corners. As you guys go below deck, it's to the point of worrisome. It's coming in through the portholes. It's anytime that Roland may or may not want to try and mend the portholes up, the next wave breaks through the glass that's there.
Ooh.
So you guys are literally like a rock in the middle of a storm that's just getting pummeled. And waves, I mean, the boat like this, you guys are having waves just up over the top of the boat. You ride it out. Anything that was on deck, there's spare ropes, some spare sails that were tied up there, washed away completely. Eventually, the storm starts to die down to a light rain. Bribus goes up goes out on deck and kind of does a check. There's a couple railings that are busted. There are various things that have gone overboard that you'll never see again. For the most part, the ship seems okay. But it is still firmly locked in place. As the morning comes, the rain starts to die down a little bit. It's still overcast. There's still thunder off in the distance. But it does die down a bit, and eventually in the morning, the rest of the crew slowly and very tired and groggily get to their feet. If I'm going to say that no one got any sleep.
So I still have my exhaustion.
You still have your 1 point of exhaustion.
Okay.
Anyone that wasn't resuscitated, though, has 2 points of exhaustion.
Ooh.
So almost the entire crew. Ryan and Skyla, you guys didn't get any. Sorry. Roland and Ryan. It's too close. Sorry. Roland and Skyla, you guys didn't get any sleep per se, but I'm gonna say that you guys aren't exhausted because you weren't really doing much. You were kind of just like holding on for dear life. So you're tired, but you're not exhausted. As the rest of you come to, you remember going to sleep, and now you're waking up in a completely different place, pretty much completely soaking wet with seawater. The boat is the floor underneath you is actually kind of canted at a strange angle, so you're kind of feeling like you're almost like rolling or on the verge of rolling. And you wake up and you guys are all in the basically in the conference room together. There's, cups and bowls and chairs and stuff kind of floating in puddles in the corner of the ship around you.
Someone want to say what happened?
Cliff's notes. We were attacked. It's been a day, and we're dead in the water.
You guys went to sleep, and then a couple hours later we were attacked. So it's been a day plus a couple hours. And the ship is stuck magically, which is pretty crappy. And we broke all the portholes because there was weird potion, but then the water broke them anyways. Oh, and we lost a sail.
We lost all the sails. Spare sails,
all
the
the
actual
sails.
sail, everything's
We
gone.
lost them all.
You guys have sails on the ship still.
We have some spare sails.
but your
The
main
main
sail is gone.
Oh, when you said like the spare
And-
sails on deck, we're like,
Yeah.
I was like, oh well.
Yeah, you did have spare sails that were up on deck as well, because Bribus basically like stocked you guys up. So with the state of things as they are, when you get back to sailing, you'll be basically sailing without your main sail, which will put you pretty much at like 50 to 75% speed.
Oh gosh.
Grievous just gust that wind, boy.
Doesn't quite physics.
Physics gust of wind does not quite work
Push
in
us.
that way.
Push the boat.
That would push me away from the boat long before I moved anything, but
Shayla's like, what?
No,
That
it's
wouldn't work.
fine. Just
Wind. It's just wind.
It's just wind.
Corin and Kaylee, you guys have been out in for about a session and a half. So I'm gonna start with you guys. Kaylee, what do you want to do? What are you feeling?
Do I smell cinnamon rolls?
I might have one left in here if you want it.
How do you smell that over the seawater?
Yeah, it's all soggy.
I know. Yep, I've got 2 points of exhaustion. I'm very, very tired and very confused.
Oh.
Do we know how long it'll be until we are back sailing? Did we discuss that? Did we say when we'll start moving again?
They're going to basically explain the same situation, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So we'll fast track it. You guys get explained what is going on. And Roland kind of says that it's a magical effect. It might be able to be dispelled. Otherwise, I think that we have to wait out its effect, which could, from what he's heard, is probably about maybe like a day, like 24 hours, essentially.
And nobody has the ability to dispel.
I can do that.
What?
We just haven't actually gotten to the point of Role-playing that bit. Yes.
Why didn't we wake up Corn first?
Who's
Shall we give it the old college try?
Feather.
Say Lathander.
I am Corn. You must be our new passenger. I don't think we've been properly introduced.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
And you as well. Wish it were under better circumstances. But so
We cannot choose these things.
that is the way of things. So do we know what is causing the effect and where I would go to dispel it?
They had an item with them that probably caused this effect, according to Roland.
We know where it was triggered, but I believe it affects the whole ship, and I do not think it matters where it is cast.
My voice is...
If it works at all.
I don't think we do know where it was triggered, because the
Roland.
ship was what woke us up.
Roland knows where it was triggered.
You knew where it was
Roland-
triggered.
Roland, you ran out of the hall, and when you woke up, you heard the other one saying too soon. When you ran out, you saw the other one coming up the hall, so you know that it was probably triggered somewhere in the crew's quarters.
What I think that actually matters, like where it was triggered.
I'll tell you what. Anyone that's proficient in Arcana can give me an Arcana check.
Okay.
And I believe Kaylee is proficient in everything, so
I guess, yeah.
I guess.
I guess a little bit.
Oh, Kaylee.
Dumb Kaylee
I'm so
rolls.
tired.
And anyone that's I believe has
Exhausted.
2 points of exhaustion is at disadvantage, anyways.
Yeah.
It's only the 1.2 levels is half speed, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kaylee.
Oh, the fumble tumble.
Corin, did you roll?
I'm not proficient in Arcana.
Oh, all right. Roland, you figure that it's you'll have the most effect, or the best chance where it was triggered at.
Okay, so I will lead him with my tuning fork, trying to.
And you point him roughly in the area of where the person was coming from when everything struck last night.
Okay.
Somewhere down there.
Let's see. I'm trying to think, because just when after a period of rest, I would actually be able to swap what spells I have prepared.
After a long rest, I believe.
Yes.
So every morning.
But would this have counted as a long rest?
Nope.
So, okay, so I can't prepare Detect Magic, which would help us pinpoint it. I know Kaylee just ran off. I don't know if she knows Detect Magic.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Kaylee doesn't waste her time on utility spells. Come on.
Yep. But,
I
so,
can check.
yeah. So
I mean,
it's fortunate that I have Dispel Magic prepared, but this will be somewhat of a guess trying to figure out where to attempt to dispel it then. Okay, but I can just choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range, so I guess the effect is within range. If we're going with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, yeah, Saber, if I had it prepared, I could ritual cast it, but I can't cast it at all without having it prepared. So I will just go
Detect magic, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I will just go ahead and attempt to dispel the effect.
Okay, so go ahead and cast that for me.
Let's hope that it's fine at 3rd level and I don't need to cast it higher.
Okay. All right. So as you kind of concentrate and focus in on like trying to reach out and just like negate all of the magical effects that are currently happening on the ship, you cast this out and you don't feel anything at first, as your mind kind of opens up and you begin reaching out more further and further, and finally you kind of feel something wrong in the wood of the ship itself. It feels like there's a lot of strain being placed in one specific point along the hallway that you're in, and everything seems to be kind of like tied into that, and the wood wants to kind of like snap back into place and be set free. And as you feel that, you reach out and you just push that magical effect to the side, and as it does, I need everyone to make a dexterity save.
Including me, because I
No,
kind of knew it was
you're
coming. Okay.
I'm so good at those.
Okay.
Skylar just like jumps in place as the boat like moves and just lands perfectly back down.
Yep. So as you kind of put this to the side, you feel the entire boat kind of back down into the water. Everyone except yes. You guys basically Skyla, as the boat kind of like picks up and then just like slams back down, Skyla, you just like, huh, and it's just glide back down. Roland and Kaylee, you kind of taken back a little bit. Kaylee, you kind of like pop into a little bit of a tumble stance. Nyessa, you're kind of like messing with something on your armor, and all of a sudden the boat picks up from underneath you and is gone, and you just like fall back and turtle yourself essentially. Anyone nearby hears this just loud clanging like pots and pans falling to the ground.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Are you okay, Nessa?
What?
Breathe.
It's fine.
All right. And the boat seems to be back in the water, and you guys feel it rocking with the waves a little bit. Bribis kind of starts barking out orders, and you see the rest of the crew like, and very, it's a struggle, but they slowly and tiredly make their way to getting the ship ready to sail. Bribis gets up on the helm, and you guys get back underway.
Could I ask Bribis if he knows how far we are from our destination?
Yeah, we'd have to ask the navigator there what our new time would be, but with the sails cut, we've already lost most of a day. We were going to ride that storm most of the way in. I imagine we're probably at least 3 days delayed now.
I can maybe help a little. I don't know if control water can be used to help push the ship along, but I have that.
I would say that it probably not a ship this size. It's a level 1 or a cantrip.
It's level 4.
Oh, a level 4.
Choose
What
a
does that
cue.
one do?
Until this here, I'm gonna cast it so that we can see it. But
Yep.
that's a much bigger.
Flowing water, whirlpool, flood. What does it do? It's one action, and it only lasts 10 minutes. So you could move really quickly for 10 minutes a day, I would say.
Could I possibly polymorph myself into a whale?
Does polymorph... You have polymorph?
Yeah.
Let me see here.
And just push us along.
Oh my gosh.
Because I also have polymorph, so I can
Double whale power.
like we can take a turn.
Double whale.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't say creature CR in the
Can be any beast whose challenge rating
Oh, never mind. It does say deer.
is equal to or less than the target's level.
We can do 7 or lower.
7 or lower. So if you got, I don't know what a whale would be. To be fair, I mean a killer whale is actually in the SRD.
There you go. There you go.
And it has it has a challenge rating of 3. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
All of my dreams. All of them.
Yeah.
This is like the best day of Skyland's life.
I think I have an idea.
When is it? We gotta go fast.
And again though, so you can move really quickly for about an hour.
For an hour, and then think I can do it. Dang it. Sorry. Now I need to know how many 4th level slots I do have because it doesn't show on my sheet for some reason. I think I just have 1, but I think I can with my little sorcerer point. Actually, sorcery points will probably do 2 hours.
Probably.
And I mean, I can turn into a shark or something with my
What,
beast shield for longer.
What is your what are your metamagics?
I think I just have quickened and heightened.
Heightened casts it at a higher level, doesn't it? Or does that make it damage more?
No, it just gives disadvantage on saving throws, that sort of thing.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you guys can do that.
Okay. I'm gonna do that. Like have fashion some sort of bridle that I can chew on with my whale face.
Okay. So what I'm gonna say is, between you explaining this crazy idea to Bribus, him looking at you like you're crazy for about 10 minutes, Ponderous overhearing and saying that he can help make a tow that'll work fairly well. Between you and Champs and between you and Kaylee and Corin, I keep looking at Skype and reading the names, versus like looking at Roll20 and reading the names. So between you, Corin, and Kaylee, doing this, I'll say, and then potentially Corin also using the water spell to kind of like push it along a little bit further. I'll say that the you guys are about 3 days behind. I'll say that you can make up about a day of that.
So now
you'll be
just the normal time we were quoted.
Yeah, you'll be 2 days behind basically.
Okay.
Which I think would put you at about I think it was an 8-day trip. You guys have already gone 3 days, so you have another 7 days to go.
Okay.
So over the course of that 7 days, like doing an hour or two of each of these things, will cut off a full days of travel.
Awesome. That's awesome. I probably should roll 2 d20s though, just to see if anything weird happens. Well, I mean, should I actually, if it's over the course of days, is there a different way you want me to roll this?
Just
You want to do a D100 instead?
I'll say you can either roll one time on the table, or you can try and roll for once for each day, which would be let's say 5 d20s, or you can just roll once on the table. It's up to you.
Actually, probably should go ahead and let everyone know what's going on here and just roll on the table, just so everyone's on the same page. While I'm safely a distance away from the ship.
That's fine.
So that's probably not good. Pretty low there.
A 16, huh? All right.
I turn into a plant and just drown.
Okay, so as you transform on about the 3rd day of doing this, you kind of feel that magic start to slip away from you, and as you transform into this whale, you feel this buildup of excess kind of just like noxious energy within you. It kind of almost feels like it's you don't know if it's maybe possibly because your mind keeps thinking back to being affected by the poison or what exactly it is, but for some reason you can't get that mental image out of your head, and you feel this buildup of energy, and it lashes out as you're basically like diving into the water. So I'm going to need you to pick someone else to cast Stinking Cloud on.
The whale just farted on us, you guys.
If there's just whoever would be watching me dive in is gonna get it.
Skyla.
Corn
Sorry.
would also be there.
Skyla also
Observing.
already smells pretty bad, so
Well, it doesn't really matter. Looking back, as you're kind of like turning, you start to shift into this whale, and you just kind of lash out. I will say it's as a creature of your choice, so you could center it on yourself if you wanted to.
Then I will do that and just be a
Okay.
stinky fish.
Okay, so as you kind of start transforming, you kind of just like let out a yell. Anyone that's near you see Roland kind of fall down, and this energy kind of just crackle over him as this putrid kind of yellow nauseating gas starts puking out of his mouth, and it just like and floods in about a 20-foot sphere, just kind of this cloud 20 feet out, kind of pours off of him down the side of the ship, kind of hangs over the water and stuff like that. So for anyone that would have been watching, and I'm not going to go with the rest of it because a moderate wind, which Ribis or anyone could do, could get rid of it.
I also assume diving underwater would disperse the gas.
But
around.
Roland, you can go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Oh man. Oh man.
And what's your DC?
15.
Okay, so you start puking and throwing up all over the place.
Quick,
As a whale,
harvest the
right?
ambergris.
Is there a whale on the ship? Or are
Yeah,
you
I
still on
mean,
the ship?
so you puked this out as you were doing this. Are you
Yeah.
jumping in and turning into a whale immediately, or are you
Well,
letting this happen and then turning into a whale?
Doesn't it like when the effect it happens like after the spell is cast, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I like the idea of big stinky fish with gas pouring off and just kind of like throwing up krill, just like and
So
out of-
while we're just like
going in.
Yeah.
the ship is going through it, just like
and there's like
oh my god.
there's like belchy bile coming out of the blowhole, just
That's how your magic works? What? Oh.
Yeah, Kaylee's just like, this is what polymorph does?
Are the
This is day
portals
3.
fixed yet?
I've done this great a few
I will
times.
never use this spell on myself.
Sorcerers are really weird.
This is rough.
I'm so glad I'm a bard right now.
Oh my god.
We can wear nice
over the side of the
clothes.
ship and there's a bar.
Okay,
Oh,
all right.
God.
So you want to whale it up and then just go. So you start transforming. Your head basically like turns into a whale. Out of your blowhole, this putrid, stinking cloud comes. You take one last breath as you jump in the water, and half of the cloud just like into your whale mouth. You start as you fall over into the water, and just there's puke everywhere. There's noxious fumes coming up over the stern of the bow of the ship. Anyone that's watching gets splashed with some kind of nasty water mixture. It's
Oh my
terrible. It's horrible. They're gonna have some questions for you in about an hour.
No.
My
I'm just
question's
like
right now.
I'm just shame swimming right now.
Just
Like-
keep swimming. Just keep
Like-
swimming.
Just like I'm just like a guilty kid in a pool, just kind of like just swimming away from it. No one will blame me.
So awful.
Terrible.
I did not expect this.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. I'm happy. All right, so you guys make some good time. Is there anything else you guys want to do on the ship while you're going? You guys want to plan out your journey anymore?
What can we? At some point, when none of us are on whale duty, just a
And
group planning session of what can we expect upon arrival there.
All right. Oh, jeez. All right. That's
Sorry.
terrible.
sorry.
I love the artistry, though.
I'm so good at throwing.
All right, so the plan right now is to land in Ethelin, or Ethelin?
Aethelin?
Ethelin. And,
Alaric?
yeah, Alaric? There's not really any decent place to land and find transport to Welfordshire outside of Ethelin. So, generally speaking, champs from... I did it again. Kaylee, from being in that area, you know that the easiest way to get to Welfordshire from where you guys are at is to land at Ethlin, take transport up the river, and go around the Withering and come back down to Welfordshire.
Got it.
You do know that the Withering is not a place that allows for any kind of decent or easy travel, but a straight line from Ethlin to Welfordshire through the Withering would considerably shorten the time, but it's very dangerous.
Got it.
So just so Kaylee has the has all the information.
Got it. So the Withering is a beautiful place, and I think we should go straight through it because it would be a lovely. I'm kidding. I wouldn't.
I was preparing to roll insight.
I know. So here's the deal. I explain all the things. Those are our options. Obviously, I would like to go through the Withering, but even though it's the shortest distance, it could also end up costing us time if we run into trouble. So I won't make that call.
And then everyone has, at this point, slept. They have no more exhaustion, and their HP is all the way back up.
How dangerous is dangerous? Because we dealt with the Feywild. We didn't fight much there other than the tree, but...
So,
It's a fake world.
everyone, I would say everyone except for probably Skyla, well, Skyla and probably Roland would have at least a general idea of the existence of the Withering. But first-hand knowledge of it would probably land to Kaylee because, one, she's lived in close proximity, she's traveled the land, and collects stories of things of this nature. So, general knowledge for Niesa, Corin, and Kaylee would be that the Withering is this huge swath of land that kind of it's almost like a scar on the land that cuts up from the coastline along the river, heading towards the Presidium on the Elvish side, and it's quite a way. I mean, it's much longer than it is wide, but it is it's almost like a, I don't want to use like common terms like a blight or anything like that, but it basically the land itself is like putrid and cursed and dead. Kaylee, if you want to give me, I'm just going off the assumption that Kaylee would at least have pursued some knowledge of this in some way, shape, or form. If you want to just give me you're proficient in history, I believe, right?
History, yes.
Okay, so if you want to give me a history check, what this is going to do is just tell us how advanced your knowledge is. So you're going to have advanced knowledge, but this will give us an idea. All right.
Not that advanced, which is a letdown.
No, I'm going to go with advantage on this.
Oh, okay.
Just because, again, Welfordshire is literally...
Yeah, and Aethelin is where I was born and grew up.
Yeah, so you basically, you know this. So the Withering is actually one of the longest holdovers from the war for the Maelstrom Temple. What ended up happening was a contingent of dwarvish warriors managed to sail around and break through the Elvish blockade and basically tried to start a ground campaign and march their way to the Presidium, because fighting across the Maelstrom Lake wasn't actually working out too well for them. When they did, they basically burned and pillaged and salted the land as they went, causing destruction. And on this side, especially as they got further inland, a lot of it was not soldiers that they were fighting. It was towns and defenseless people that they were raiding against. Most of the Elvish forces were more inland, fighting basically directly over the Maelstrom Temple at this point in time. So there wasn't a lot of forces to kind of pull back and deal with this, and no one's quite sure. The elves blame it on the dwarves blame it on the elves, but at one point in the conflict, something drastic took place, and the entire battlefield became twisted and tainted, and with your knowledge from what you've been able to dig up, the elves turned to drastic measures, and they authorized necromancers which were kind of, even at that point in the war, weren't really openly used. They authorized necromancers to go down and take care of it, and what they ended up doing was turning any of the fallen dwarven soldiers back on themselves, so they ended up fighting a battle of attrition and losing, and the magic kind of got away from them, and the entire battleground was just destroyed, and the taint kind of sits there still.
Okay.
The land itself is sick. Nothing grows there that anyone would want to mess with. In Aethelin, there are actually, at this point in time, there are actually some people that do travel into the Withering. There's actually an entire guild of rangers that make it their kind of like job to go out there and do stuff, and there are also certain people that harvest things from there for magical research and stuff like that. But there is a sickness that is associated with it, actually called the Withering, and the reason people don't mess with it is because if you go there and you don't know what you're doing, if you're not like one of the rangers that knows how to protect themselves from this, you can actually come back with, it's literally just called the Withering, and it's defined by a blackening of the fingertips is how it starts, and eventually it kind of just infects and corrupts someone's entire body.
Got it. So this is how dangerous it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Is the Withering newer than the Archdruid's journal? Do I have any sense of that? Whether I
Yeah, the Archdruid's journal is much, much older. It predates the Maelstrom compromise by a good amount.
Okay. Just in case, I would like to see if I can find anything out about it in there. Maybe how to protect or cure the Withering.
Okay.
Just
Yeah,
to-
go ahead and just give me a history check with advantage.
Yeah, mostly just to see if it's magical and updates itself, or...
Okay. I'm going to say that you don't find anything specific about the Withering, but as you're looking up the area, you do come across information that there was a druid circle in that area that you've never heard of before.
Okay.
No one at your circle has ever talked about it, at the very least.
Good to know.
So there's our options. Go upstream, circumvent the Withering, maybe stop in Aethelin and find some rangers, try to go through the Withering.
I think
The
probably...
last time we got help from a ranger it ended up bad for them.
Well,
You're not wrong.
you're not wrong. Yeah, that ranger wasn't supposed to leave, and he did anyways for us. These rangers, it's their job to go into the Withering.
I get it. I just don't want other people to get hurt because we need help again.
We can ask, and if they don't want to go, we won't make them go.
Click,
I think
clack,
it's the
click,
best
clack,
option.
click, clack.
Sorry.
I mean, I think that's the best option. We need to get there as fast as possible.
As long as no one dies.
That is certainly the plan. Everyone
How-
living.
Kaylee, do you know how long it takes to cross it?
With luck, it will take blank amount of time that Kaylee would know, but Caitlin does not.
You figure going upriver, like, which is always slower than traveling downriver, and then coming back around, you would probably make up. It would probably take about 3 days off the journey, assuming you don't run into any problems.
Right.
So we go through, we don't touch anything, we should be fine.
That's kind of the idea.
All right.
Do we know? Do I know how long it does? It's probably a day or two to cross it. Four.
Yeah, it would probably take you at least 3 days to cross on foot because there's no carts or roads that go through there.
Yeah. It's like a day to it, 3 days to cross it, and then like a day to Wilfordshire. I regret saying we should do this.
Yeah, I'm like, I amend my decision.
And how long would it take to go around?
You're looking at basically like a week to go around.
Well, considering who we're racing against, I don't think they're in enough of a rush to risk it, so there is that.
Or they're well equipped enough, it doesn't matter.
It sounds like this requires specialized knowledge and equipment, so we can check with the rangers, see if anyone else hired them to escort them through. If not, great. We know that either we need to catch them by going around or try and hire our own escort through. Or we can risk it ourselves and see what comes of that after getting as much preparation in as we can.
We could also talk to the rangers and see if we can reach an agreement about seeing if they feel like losing somebody in the Withering.
If they're experienced enough, that shouldn't be an issue, or is there some double speak going on here?
We go around and they go through. Perhaps we can convince a ranger to leave early, unaccompanied.
I'm still not following.
I would like to maybe pay a ranger to take them into the Withering and leave them there to die.
Oh, them as in the gotcha.
Yes.
If they haven't already gotten, we're way behind.
If they've already gotten there, then
I mean, the people that stopped us, that was only 2, compared to who knows how many they have.
Mm-hmm.
And that could have just been the distract and hold party while the rest just zoomed off past us. So I'd rather go, I mean, if we're trying to save someone, we should probably go as quick as possible. They're already probably way ahead of us.
My only concern is not being alive to save them, but I mean, getting there late is the same result, basically. So I say let's do it.
Because they don't really care about what we're doing. They're concerned about getting to Connell.
Mm-hmm.
They don't give a... Yeah, so we gotta go. We gotta go fast.
You don't give a... Yeah.
Trying to not cuss. They don't give a shoot.
Shoot darn.
So
then we'll try the Withering.
Unless the rangers make a very compelling argument for why we shouldn't.
Yeah.
And even then, let's talk to them as quick as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Kaylee can talk pretty fast.
I can talk pretty fast.
So I guess there was a question of, is Roland in here? How much have we brought him into our confidence yet?
Well, I did tell him that we were hurrying. That like the whole reason we were on the ship and like trying to get going fast was because we were gonna save a life, and he was like, "Oh, well then I'm all for this." Oh, well, you said you're like I'm 100% in agreement.
No, not with, not to the extent in which you interpreted it. But I will say this, that I mean we don't have to play this out, but Roland feels indebted to Nessa and Skyla. And in order to pay that debt back, he will have tried to convince you both not to go through the Withering. He's like, this will be my contribution. Don't do this. And if you're like, nah, we're gonna do it, he's like, then I will make sure that you get through safe, and then that will be to pay that debt. So that's the conversation that we don't have to play on.
Great, love it. I knew saving your life would be a good idea.
Vroom vroom.
Okay.
Gotta go fast.
You guys spend the rest of your journey having these conversations, turning into whales, making the ship go as fast as you can. Eventually, you pull into Ethlin Harbor. It is, compared to Sapphire City, there's a lot less. I don't want to say fanfare; sounds like the wrong word. There's a lot less pomp that comes with the approach. It's elvish. It's very beautiful, but it is definitely purpose built. There's a lot of trade and commerce that's coming in and out. A lot of cargo ships that are going through. There's much less of the bright blue glowingness on the horizon as with approaching Sapphire City. This is a very kind of no-nonsense sort of thing. The harbor master or the dock master kind of comes up and very gruff, for an elf at the very least. Very gruff and kind of just like takes down names and things like that. Bribus kind of rushes off and dresses that and starts handling it for you guys, no problem. The dockmaster does take a bit of a notice of the state of the ship, complete with the ripped off maidenhead, the destroyed hand railings, the sails that are missing and stuff tight or like kind of flopped down, and this very strange rig in the front of the ship that looks like it is set up to have some sort of harness off the front of it for a large creature at this point in time. You all are now basically at the harbor of Ethlin. Bribus is basically telling you there's a lot of work to be done on the ship. And I'm assuming you guys you said you've left him with a certain amount of money, right? The gems or something like that?
Yep. Some
Okay.
amount of money.
Okay. He basically kind of runs it down and says that it's probably going to cost you guys to restock up and do everything that you need to do unless you guys take on some sort of cargo or job. It's probably going to cost you like the better part of like 200 gold to do all this.
Okay, the handout currently only says he has 120, so unless we restock him or ask him to find work that we can do, like cargo or something. So, should probably have him be looking for cargo or passengers, but also, I don't know if we have more gems or anything.
We have a
squirreled away.
lot of money, don't we? Did we spend it all? Because if so, we need to adjust that in the journal. Because
No, I mean, I think if nothing else, I know that we discussed that Alaric left behind some stuff, and one of the things was like a gem that's worth 100 gold. So,
Yes. Corin also has one of those. I'm guessing it was from the Dragon's Hoard, so he will contribute that to the half sale fund.
Okay.
So that goes to 0. Gonna throw in gem worth 100.
so, did we use our group money at all?
Did we? I thought we took out of that just to give to him. So I don't
So
think we
that was
used-
just the 120.
Yeah.
yeah.
Because
So
if that's
don't we
the
have like
case, like-
2,000 gold?
Yeah, we have over 2,000 gold, you guys. We don't have to personally put in any of our stuff.
Yeah.
We have a ton of money.
Okay.
Hey, pause. Ton.
So, I know I already have the
Okay.
half sale thing up. How much from the party funds do we want to give him? Just like
I don't like
Bribus, how much do we need?
You said 220? 200? Better part of 200?
Better part of
So
200.
let's give him 300 gold to be
Okay.
safe, and in case he sees anything else, and I will
Yeah,
take that out of the
replace
group
the
journal.
spares.
so
Great.
he now has 420 gold.
Yeah, you see,
Shut
here's
up.
that gem.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, unless
I'm assuming that 120 was spent before.
yeah, I don't know how much of that 120 would have been spent before, Robert.
Don't worry, guys. We still have over 2,000 gold.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of gold. I'm gonna say that the last time around, if you guys gave him the 120, he used that up to get everything you needed.
Okay.
So he's down to just 300 for the ship.
All right.
Yeah.
I can't ball for.
That's fair.
That's fair.
All right. So, what do you guys want to do?
Go
Let's
find
head to the Rangers.
You.
I don't think I need anything. Yeah.
All right. You start heading through. Kaylee, you notice. How long has it been since you've been in Ethlin?
Let's see. I've been with these guys for what? 2 weeks.
7 years.
7 years.
Montage was 6 months at least.
Then with this, like, so I've been like a year. It wouldn't have been maybe like 2 years. I'm sure I would pass through here often. Like, this is kind of like a home base.
Okay, all right. So we'll say between a year and a half to 2 years. If you left straight from Ethlin to go to Montage City, we'll say like a year. Either way, it's been a decent amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
As you are walking around, you notice there's a lot more of a like a militaristic presence here than you're used to seeing. It is almost every single kind of street corner. There are contingents of guards that are walking down, and they are not just local city guards. There are also members of the Presidium military that are in the street and kind of walking up and down the place, kind of giving check to anyone that's walking through. And let me see here. Let me just do this real quick. So as you guys are walking through, this group of soldiers, as you're making your way over towards the Rangers Guild, essentially, this group of soldiers is walking by, and as they do, they kind of walk fairly close to you, and one of them, Nessa, actually, like, shoulders into you, roughly, like, fairly roughly, and continues walking, but over, like, the shoulder, kind of just, hey, out of the way, human, and just, like, kind of keeps going on.
What?
I habitually just kind of duck my head a bit and then realize what I did and lift my head up a little higher.
Why did he say that?
It's kind of the way it
Roland
is.
squares up.
Skyla turns
As he turns
purple.
around.
So mad.
You uncouth swine.
You say that to the guard?
I mean, yeah. I don't know if he's probably past me, but I turn around like my 5'1".
All right. Well, it's a group of them, so
right,
there are 5 guards that are there, and he kind of turns around, like looks at you, and says, "What was that?"
You were rude. Apologize.
Rylan, it's not necessary.
Apologize to what? That?
What do you mean that?
Yes, that.
I love him.
It's not a that. That's a person.
Guys, it's alright.
It's
I
not
keep my
right.
pronouns mixed up all the time. Yeah, so what's it? This or that? That's that.
Them.
There.
Yeah. If you'd like to discuss this further, I can take you down to the magistrate's office and we can hash this out.
There's nothing to discuss. You're
Well,
rude.
You were
Then-
mean for no reason.
Without
You might
making
as well
that-
take yourself and your human friend along.
Yes,
Or else
we
we'll
will be
make sure
heading
that there's a-
along. Roland, Skyla, we have more important matters to attend to. You have
So lucky we have lives to
good
save.
rest of your day, sir. And just
Mm.
kind of
You have a bad rest of your day, sir.
Ushering the group
Uh,
on.
As you're doing that, Kaylee, are you doing anything while this is taking place?
She's like looking she's like, she's not even paying attention to the group. She's like looking down the hall, like streets to make sure she remembers where stuff is. Like she's like waiting for them to be ready with that, whatever they're doing, so we can go.
Okay. All right. As you're kind of doing this, Corin, and Hashigamon, you kind of get like a little bit more of a kind of like, all right, yeah, be on your way. Kind of, they don't really care about you as much, but not much. You kind of sense like there's a little bit of a hidden, yeah, be on your way, dwarf under there as well. And then the rest of
Skylar's gonna have
them,
a rough time here.
they kind of turn around and begin walking down the other way.
Have a bad day.
Scarlet, we have to make good time. Just let
I
it
know,
go.
but they don't have to be mean for no reason.
Well, for them, they have a reason. And just...
I'm human too. I take offense to that.
Dignity.
So, correct me if I'm wrong here, Kaylee. The gardens are in the center of the city, right?
Yeah.
And then the district with the crafters and bankers
Commerce District.
is beyond that, before it, from the docks. What would you say?
I mean, it would probably be dock side of it because
Okay.
just for transportation.
All right, and then I would assume that the Rangers Guild is going to be on the edge of the Commerce District, closest to the city wall, towards the Blight, or towards the Withering.
Yeah, that would
All
probably
that.
be on the other side of the gardens, more towards the. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you guys would be passing the gardens in order to get there, you think?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So as you guys are going through, basically the Commerce District, you are seeing twice as many shops as you saw in Sapphire City, and these ones, unlike Sapphire City, actually seem geared more towards selling things versus like creating things and keeping them for themselves. There's like 16 arrow shops. Like there's actually like 16 different arrow shops, and then there's just like, you know, arrow bucks on every street corner. So if you want some arrows, they're everywhere. There's blacksmiths. There are, you know, everything from basket makers to, you know, weavers to, you know, weaponsmiths, armorsmiths, everything in this city. Corin and Kaylee, actually, give me just a perception roll. Just a straight perception roll. Wow, good one. Kaylee, as you guys are going through, kind of just corner of your eye, you catch sight of a very familiar sign, and it's actually a armor shop, and you've seen the sign before, and underneath it, it talks about working with exotic materials and doing exotic hides and things like that. It's the person that made yours and Corin's armor out of the bullywug armor hide. This is like their home shop. This is where they work out of, and they travel to different festivals and things of that nature. Kind of just passing, you've noticed that. You don't have to stop or anything. As you guys make your way further in towards the city, you know the paths to take. One of them takes you very close to the gardens, and as you come up, you kind of get the feeling that something's not quite right. The gardens are generally open to the city. People can walk through all the time. At the basically at the central part of the city where the entrances to the gardens are, there are these huge kind of worked arches that have plants and things kind of twisted and woven in with the architecture itself. At each of the entrances that you pass, there are Presidium and city guards, shoulder to shoulder, with weapons out, basically like halberds or glaives at the ready, and not letting people in or pass.
Okay. I don't have time for this. I definitely make note of it, but if for some reason we get stuck in Aethlin, I'm definitely gonna investigate it. But oh wait, do we need to go through the gardens to get?
No, you can
Okay.
go around. That's kind of just like in the center of the city. You
Yeah.
guys come up to it, and you probably thought about walking through because
Yeah.
it was, but it's not much to go around it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll start circumventing it. Annoyed for sure, and keeping it in the back of my mind to see if I have time to address this.
Okay. For the rest of you, those of you especially that haven't been to Aethlin yet, as you guys are walking around, what you see beyond the gates, which it looks very tended. Corin, you kind of recognize and pick out a little bit of druidic help here and there in the way that certain plants are kind of like growing in with the architecture that makes up the fence that surrounds it, and the careful placement of certain things inside of it. But from what you can see from where you guys are at, passing through what isn't overgrown of the fence, you see inside these just beautiful, lush gardens. I mean, some of the most like breathtaking gardens that you've ever seen. Things that just like you didn't even think that flowers could get that big, that size, that color. The closest thing that any of you have actually seen to looking like this would probably be in the Feywild, just the natural growth and the kind of like crazy things that are there. But there's no Feywild magic here. This is all stuff from around Heartland that was brought and cultivated specifically here to grow and look amazing. But it is currently locked. You guys circumvent it and make your way out. So the docks, there is a river that runs through the city. You guys are going to be on the west side of the river. Going through here, and the river actually goes right through the garden district. As you guys are making your way around, you eventually come to the guild, the Withering Ranger Guild. It's kind of nondescript. It doesn't really have a sign or like anything printed out front, but on the door there is what looks like a big black scar that's kind of painted on it. And Kaylee especially, you know that's the sign for the Withering. It's closed up, but you hear voices and things inside.
I knock because I don't think it's polite to walk into a guild that you don't belong to.
All right. As you knock, you get someone that opens up the door, and what you see is someone that kind of strikes you just immediately as ranger. They have the cloak, they have the bow slung over them, but their clothes are a bit different. Most rangers tend to have like greenish or woodland kind of colored clothes. In Skyla's case, she has a lot of blues and whites because of coming from snow, and that's just like typical of where she's from. This one, it's almost kind of nauseating to look at. They have like splotches of brown and green and yellow that make up a large portion of their kind of like loose tunic, and their cloak almost looks like tattered like sageweed. It has this weird kind of coarse look to it that looks like scraggly brush almost. The hair kind of hangs about, and they're not as clean cut. They look a bit more grizzled and kind of haggard. He has a bit of a sunken look to his eyes, dark circles underneath it. Everything about him kind of looks he looks like what you've heard of the Withering, basically. Just this kind of off-putting presence. The person that you're talking to at the door is half-elven. He kind of can I help you?
Yes, my party and I are looking to perhaps book a guide through the Withering, and you would be the ones to talk to about that, I believe.
What, are you just getting to town or something?
Currently, and looking to leave quickly as well.
If don't ask a stupid question. The guild's not taking on any work at the moment right now. We're not permitted to leave the town until an investigation is completed.
This sounds familiar.
Of course they're not! Kaylee flips the table. There is no table, but she casts one and flips it.
I cast table.
I cast table.
Is nobody allowed to leave, or is it just specifically into Withering?
Maybe he kind of like looks around. He says, "Maybe best to come in," and he kind of shows you inside. There aren't very many others there. There's one or two other rangers that are there in the like main section of the guild hall. And he says, "No, ever since those soldiers from Presidium showed up to investigate what's going on in the gardens, they seem fit to point blame at our guild hall in particular because they think we have something to do with what was going on there. So even though if anyone knows anything about our guild, it's to know that just kind of flies in the face of everything we do here, but whatever."
Of course it does. Well, I'm sorry to hear that your guild has been hobbled for the moment. I know that you guys do great work out in the Withering. Long story short, we're trying to beat the clock in order to help my family. If you can't take us, do you know of anybody who perhaps has a special skill to help us traverse the upriver so that we can circumvent the Withering?
Why? I mean, no one in their right mind would want to go across the Withering. Why would you guys need to go?
Like I said, beating the clock to help my family. Life and death kind of deal.
No one goes in there unless they have to, so you don't have to explain yourself to me. Look, we're not allowed to leave to go until they clear us to go, but we managed to get word out to some of our individuals that were still out to not come back and get stuck here. So we still have some people that are out and basically doing what they need to do. I can ask and see if we can get word to one of them. Maybe they can meet you on the edge and take you across.
There's also this ring that I need to see how it works, and if it works the way I want, I get it from Bribus. This creature, Animal Messenger, spell it at will. And that, I don't need to, do I need to know the person to cast Animal Messenger? I don't actually know the spell.
No, you just need to be able to describe them.
Yeah, you can describe them. You can describe, like, someone in city guard clothes.
Right.
Or a blue genasi. Like, you can...
So, I let him know, I have means to get word to one of your men without having to send anybody.
We have means of contacting our own. That's how we told them not to come back anyways. We can work something out. But it's not going to be cheap. We don't typically take people across, and there's no guarantee of safety.
We weren't expecting one, and we were expecting to compensate.
Whichever ranger you end up working with will have their own fees, and then they work out a percentage with us. So we can have one of them meet you there. It's going to be slim pickings. It's whoever's closest and whoever's willing to come.
I look at the party, and I don't want to say yes unless...
It works for me. As far as I know, we've been through worse.
Well, let's send the message.
All right. If you guys want to be back here in the morning, I'll let you know where to meet on the edge of the Blight, and we'll go from there.
I am so sorry I didn't get your name.
It's Kodal.
Thank you so much, Kodal. You've been incredibly helpful, and we'll see you in the morning.
All right. Watch yourselves out there. People are a bit on edge in the city lately.
Thanks for the heads up.
And he kind of shows you the door.
That's a nice door. No, I'm kidding. We leave.
It is precisely where we left it.
Next, he's gonna draw a bath.
Progress comes out of nowhere and
Gonna
breaks it. It's
draw
crap!
a bath.
It's a bad door. It's terrible.
Okay, great. Okay, great. Great. Um, I don't know if Kaylee would have known. Kaylee might have known her daughter. The lady who is one of the groundskeepers.
Hmm.
I'm trying to decide if I don't think Kaylee would have known her necessarily. Personally, there's a chance she might have known her daughter, but not. There's no reason for her to really. Great. So there's no one I really need to see in the city. Now I'm trying to remember if I decided if Kaylee kept her parents' house.
No.
Yeah.
Probably not.
No, probably not. I wasn't planning on like living here
Well, I
forever,
mean,
so probably sold it.
Well, from what I've read, the backstory, you grew up being taken care of by.
Yeah. So yeah,
So,
I wasn't.
I imagine
planning on,
it's
like,
gone.
living here forever. Great. We should find an inn, or
Well,
we
you-
can sleep on the
you
boat.
guys have a
Just
boat.
kidding. Just
Yeah.
kidding. Just kidding.
You do have ties in the city, so if there's anyone that you wanted to talk to, ask questions to, anything like that, you could probably take care of that. While Kaylee is doing that, I'm going to go around the table once. So, Roland, is there anything that you want to do in the city? You got it's basically afternoon right now, so you have until tomorrow morning.
I want to look if there are any people, kids or ruffians or people that I think that I could
Beat up easily.
now get them to like do like a prank on the guards,
Oh, okay.
like
All
like
right.
stink bombs into like or something like that.
All right. Give me
I
an
don't know if I-
investigation check.
I don't know if I got like a good description of the guy, but
Wow, double 18s. Yeah.
He's determined.
I'm gonna say based on like your background, you kind of know the sort to look for, and you find a couple kids that probably should be in school right now, but aren't. And you kind of talk to them for a little bit, and you're like, "Well, what's in it for us?"
actually, do I have anything to offer? So, for restoring the honor of my charge, a gold per person.
You see them kind of like as you start talking about honor, they're kind of like, and then you say a gold per person, and their eyes like pop open. All right, yeah.
Make it stick.
All right. Well, up front, basically, payment up front.
Yeah, you know what? Okay. How many kids are there? Should probably.
How many you want to get? I mean, you found a group of them. How many are you willing to?
Well, this is pretty easy because I only have 5 gold, so I can get up to 5 kids.
I will say also that your trip so far is paid for to the next port. So after the next port,
Okay. Yep. It's like sure. I'm just. This is important to me. I will not stand for this slight.
okay.
Okay. So yeah, all my gold,
All right.
5 gold, as
All
many
right.
as many agents as that can procure.
So about 4 or 5 kids kind of eagerly walk up and snatch the gold pieces out of your hand and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna find any guard I can." And they're all gonna hate life after this, and they start talking about what they're gonna do. And as you're walking away, you hear things like, "Oh, we could go down to the farms and get a bucket of," and they start talking. "Oh, that's disgusting." "Oh, yeah, but I mean, it's a gold piece," and they kind of just talking back and forth. So, you've sent them on their way. You've unleashed chaos on the city. Corin, in the back of your head, you hear a little voice go, "Yes, excellent."
So I'm
I got the
going
wrong
to,
one.
Gonna straighten my neckerchief, feeling a little bit more like that the universe is balanced again, and then I will make my way back to the group.
All right. Skyla, is there anything that you would like to do in the city?
Gonna go buy some arrows.
Done.
Cool. That's it. Gonna buy 40 arrows.
All right. So you can get them pretty cheap. 40 you can do for, I think it goes by 20 in the player's handbook. So basically 2 for the price of 1. So whatever 20 costs you.
Nice.
I don't know how much it is. I think
20
it's
arrows
like a
is 1
gold
gold.
piece.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I thought.
So 40 for a gold piece. And then,
Oh,
just so
maybe-
everyone's... Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna try to find like a sweets shop.
Okay. You find several.
Skyla buys about 15 gold worth of sweets. Various candies. Pastries.
It's a good thing we have
There's-
that bag of holdings.
There's lots of taffy.
We have
There
a
is...
ship.
That too.
Also, I have a hole of holding with a chest in it.
Dude, we're gonna have like a bowl, like in the boat. There's like a room full of just food.
It's fine.
In Skyla's room. That's what it is.
There.
She
Fair.
lives in the pantry. Yeah, so you go ahead and buy anything you're like buy to your heart's content. There's caramels, there's licorice, there's taffies, there are various types of honeycomb treats and things of that nature. So you go ahead and get a wide assortment of whatever Skyla can grab and shove into her pockets. And so everyone else is aware, Ethlyn is like a center for hub and commerce. As you guys are going around and picking things out and buying them, you do actually notice that most of the like run-of-the-mill kind of day-to-day items are a lot cheaper because the market is basically just saturated with them. So almost everything that you guys come across is like half off of what you would expect it to be, whereas in like Sapphire City it was like double the price. You definitely notice that. You pick up on it fairly quickly. So anything in the player's handbook that is available for sale is just available for less. So just so you guys are aware.
Mm-hmm.
You can. All right. So what do you guys want to do?
Are we gonna be the adventurers that retire because we realize we can make more money being merchants than adventurers?
Yeah. Roll up a new party.
Yeah.
If you guys need a boat ride,
Yep.
there's one available. So I'll go with Nyessa. What do you want to do for the rest of the day?
Basically, I just have Kaylee's back with whatever she's doing, whatever, like, making sure that trying not to attract attention again.
Okay.
I'm making myself small out of habit.
Okay. And Corin, what do you want to do?
I would actually go back to the Withering Rangers and see if I can get advice on what spells to prepare for traversing the Withering.
Nice.
All right. Yeah. Okay. They open up the door again, essentially, and it's the same individual, Kodal the half elf, and he doesn't have a lot of time to kind of talk it over, but he basically tells you. I mean, I don't know exactly what you might have, but there's all manner of just twisted and decrepit things in there. We've run across a few undead more often than not. There's twisted plants that'll lash out at you. They're almost anything that'll try and poison you and kill you. The beasts themselves, I mean, some of them, it's like you're looking at them, and then suddenly they're not where they were standing just before. There's stuff that burrows in the ground. I mean, if you want to list anything between the core of the earth and the sky above you will try and kill you when you're in the Withering. It seems like the clouds themselves are tainted. Bring lots of water.
Can do create or destroy water. Good, very purify food and drink. Okay. Alright, yes, okay.
All right. So Kaylee, back to you.
Okay, so I do want to get some stuff, and I'm taking. So if are thieves' tools and a disguise kit also half off here?
Yeah, you could, because you never got yours. You
Yeah,
know
I
enough
ducked out of that.
people. Yeah, you know enough people in town that you can find those for, I'd say, half off.
Okay. Then I would. God, I don't feel like playing. I don't feel like working. So I would probably go if I knew that Corn was going to the back to the Rangers. I might go back with him and just get intel to know what to expect.
All right, I'll say that you
Yeah.
just tagged along with Core and then
Yeah,
to head back
yeah.
and got the same kind of information.
Great.
Lots of food, lots of water, enough for the journey across, which is a few days. So I am going to say that this will be the one time where you'll want to tack rations off, probably.
I mean, I got
For everyone
good
in the group.
berry, so...
Yeah, so you're good. And create water and the any mug and stuff. So you're basically covered, but this is one of those instances where it would actually matter. And basically they tell you and Skyla if you're there as well. He basically says that he's traveled the Withering. He says, I've traveled the Withering most of my, grown life, and I mean, there are rangers here that are far older than I, and I've never once come across a ranger that's actually found something worth eating in the place. So we bring all our food in with us.
Do we know if there's any like specific antitoxin or anything we should buy?
I mean, there's some poisons. There's some creatures that'll attack you that it might be worthwhile to try and buy some. I think we might have one or two for sale here at the guild. But really the only thing that you need to worry about is the Withering itself, and there's no cure for that we know of.
Do you know of a way to avoid it?
Don't touch anything.
Got it.
Yeah, I would. So the common items are easily found here. What about like a healing potion?
Yeah, you could find some healing potions.
Okay, but it's not gonna be marked up because it's
No, it's
okay.
magical. Yeah.
I just want a couple of the regular kind. Great.
All right.
So those are... How much are those going to cost? 50 each?
50 each.
I think so.
Okay, I will just get one for now to replace my missing one.
Where did that go?
Into someone's belly, probably.
Oh my gosh.
What?
I had healing potions the whole time.
Oh my gosh.
So now you gotta keep them.
I had 4 of them.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. I love it. And as you guys are leaving, the ranger Kodo says, and I mean it. Don't touch anything. A thick pair of gloves and a good pair of boots are probably your best friends.
Skylar takes her boots off her shoulders and finally puts her shoes back on.
Rolling
Anything
with his
else look
hanky.
good?
All right.
Oh no. I mean, he could ask for some. I don't know. Especially if he's coming with us, I wouldn't expect him to just.
I would never ask for money.
Oh my god.
I'm just gonna go out and buy everyone some gloves because I'm like, I was a working woman. I know what good gloves are.
Oh.
Hey, yo. I'm gonna go get me some gloves.
Okay.
And incidentally, by rolling some gloves.
So you want 5 pairs of gloves?
Yeah, good ones.
I'm gonna say that's probably, we'll just call it 2 gold pieces.
Sweet. I don't know where all this money came from, but I have money apparently.
The dragon's hoard.
Just for like recording record sake, Kaylee will buy like, I don't think that her armor covers all of her arms. She's gonna buy like clothes that go underneath to make sure that everything's covered.
Okay.
Roland's actually got pretty
Roland covers up.
full coverage, yeah.
Roland specifically covers up because
Yeah.
it's bright out.
It's real bright out.
All right. So you guys all get all geared up and
Geared up.
Heading back to the boat, or are you guys doing anything else?
Are we leaving in the morning? Let's go find
Yeah.
a tavern. We don't have to get schwasty. Let's just have a cup of tea.
Nessa doesn't get schwasty.
If you want, that's up to you.
Skylar's gonna go find a tavern.
All right.
Kaylee won't. She'll go back and try to focus.
All right. So Skyla heads out. What tavern does Skyla find? Tavern name.
Who's in chat?
I don't know.
All right, chat.
what it is.
Give us a tavern name. First tavern name that I like becomes the tavern in Ethlin.
Ooh.
So you head on out,
And Corn
and
would probably go to the tavern.
okay, so Corin and Skyla head on out to the tavern. As you guys head on in, it's. I will say you guys go across about 2 or 3 places before you find one that you're, at least for Corin, that you're comfortable at. The first 2 that you go to, like one of them had a sign straight out that said no short ears. Like flat out said that on the door, and there were more than a few elvish guards that were drinking there in their armor still. The other one kind of had the same vibe going about it. Eventually you find a human-friendly establishment, a dwarf-friendly establishment that has a very eclectic mix of things, kind of a bit more new age for Yithlin. And you make your way on in, and the bartender, kind of happy enough, serves you decently priced ale for the rest of the night. Is there anything you guys want to do while you're there in particular?
I'm trying to think. I'm also distracted by thinking of what spells to prepare for tomorrow. I mean, how busy is it?
It's fairly busy in there, but it's not to the point of like horror. It's not like a rave where you can't hear yourself talk, but it's fairly busy. It seems that a lot of certain kind of people gravitate towards this bar because of reasons. So
I think actually just try and find a table or even just a spot at the bar for the 2 of us and just, Skyla, how have you been? It's been a bit.
Gonna have a heart to heart.
How are you dealing with Alaric having left?
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird not having him here, even though it's only been like a week.
Yeah, he's been with us since the beginning, but I'm confident he'll come back to us someday.
Maybe. I don't know. We've had a lot of people leave, so they haven't come back.
Yes, but they were kind of butts, except for Silver.
Yeah. I mean, they weren't all bots, but yeah. It's alright. I've been, waking up in the morning and looking at the sun, and it's really bright, but that's what Alaric used to do, so I feel like someone else should do it. Since he's not here to look at it and say hello in the morning.
Just Careful not to look at it too long or you'll go blind. Did that
What?
did that once as a child in the druid circle. They teach us some things, but some things they know you need to learn for yourself, so looked at the sun too long, went a day or two not being able to see. It came back, thankfully, but just give it maybe a quick nod of greeting in the morning.
I didn't know you could go. Okay, I'm gonna be way more careful now because that's really scary.
It'll be fine. Besides, we have some healing magic here, so you've got your
So,
stick.
not
Or no,
enough.
you sold
No,
your
I
stick.
sold it like a dummy. Because we had a cleric, so I wasn't worried about it. And we had a paladin. Now we don't have either.
I can. I know some healing magics. It's not quite as effective as they could, but that's what we have healing potions for.
That's true. And I can make those. So we'll be okay.
Go, 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 go.
All right. You guys kind of while away the evening and make your way back to the ship with, little to no issue. A few drunken guards that you guys managed to, if not Skyla so much, Corin manages to direct your walking away from them enough to avoid any unwanted attention. Make it back to the boat. Bribus is kind of still getting things ready for repairs and stuff on the ship. Kind of talks to you guys about whether or not you want to try and hire someone or something like that, or take on cargo, what you may or may not want to do, to make the journeys a little less expensive on the pocketbooks. Other than that, you guys kind of wind down the evening, and in the morning, make your way back over to the Rangers Guild, unless you guys want to do something beforehand. Nope. Okay. Go ahead.
Just thinking, we don't have to go back and do this, but thinking probably would have actually brought up the racism issue to Skyla and try and explain that. I mean, do we want to try and go through that, or just be like, not gonna be able to explain racism in an evening?
So there are institutions of power.
What's an institution?
Yeah.
Yeah. Some people grow up thinking that their race is better than others, and it's what they're taught. They're not necessarily taught why. They believe it. They haven't been told otherwise. If I had grown up in the mountain like my ancestors did, I would probably not like elves. But because I grew up in the druid circle, where we had everyone, you were there. You weren't an elf, you weren't a dwarf, you weren't a halfling, you were just a member of the community. So I will say it was a little bit of a shock to actually be looked down on for being a dwarf, more than the height difference, because yes, that's a fact of life, but it's just something that happens in the world, and we're not going to be able to change it overnight. So, while it was very kind of you and Roland to stick up for Nyessa, particularly given our rush, it would have been counterproductive to start something with the guard there.
I don't know what to feel right now.
It's okay to feel sad about it, but just go out in the world and don't be mean to people because of what they are. You can be mean to people because of who they are, but not because of what they are.
Now I'm wondering if people looked at me funny because I was blue or because of what race I am. Or both. How will I know the difference now?
For the most part, I would say it's probably safe to go with the blue. Genasi are relatively rare, so I think
I have short ears, and they said no short ears at the tavern.
yes. I mean, those people are probably just jerks.
It sounds like it.
Yes, but this is a conversation we should continue at some point. But
Another time.
Skyla sounds so wise when she says that.
Another time. Because I can't handle any more right now.
Because being a jerk to someone just because they look different is too stupid a concept
Yeah,
to
literally.
make
too
sense
stupid
to
concept.
anyone.
Even Skyla.
Okay, so you guys go ahead and finish off the evening. In the morning, wake up, make your way back to the Rangers Guild. Kodal is there, and he kind of gives you the basic whereabouts outside the city. He says it's going to take you most of the day to get to the edge of the Withering. And when you do, you're going to meet a ranger. He's a human ranger, and his name is Glyph. He'll probably find you long before you see him, but I'd recommend you don't cross into the Withering until you make contact.
We can certainly do that. Thank you very much.
Well, good luck and safe travels. As safe as they can be. Alright. Anything else? You guys good?
Let's
Yep.
go.
Alright, you guys make your way outside the city. As you head towards the city gates, you do pass the river docks that have the boats that are launching and heading up and upstream or upriver to other settlements and cities further on, and just kind of like on the way out towards the main gate, you happen to come across them. It's fairly busy, and you know that it's almost constant business here, in and out, Kaylee. So you guys make your way over towards the main city gates and run across a couple more guards and things like that. But uneventful. Head out, get a decent way away from the city gates, and turn off towards the Blight, towards the direction, the destination that you were given.
I think this is
You
the
guys-
fastest we've ever left a city.
Probably. Moving with a purpose. As you kind of cross country, you see that, like, outside of the city, it's fairly flat. There's a couple, rolling hills and things like that. But for the most part, this section of the land is fairly flat. There's not a lot of trees or forest in the area. But on the horizon, the distance that you're walking, which is the better part of a day's travel, you do see that it starts to rise up into a bit more rocky, kind of hilly territory. And off towards the west, Kaylee, you've seen this before. It's almost one of those things that everyone kind of notices, but no one really looks at or pays attention to. But there's this kind of thick, reddish kind of haze, almost like a smog, that kind of hangs off the air over those hills in the distance that you can see, and the terrain changes drastically the further that you go on. What are you doing, you big puppy? I'm looking. I know. Thank you. You guys make your way closer and closer towards the foothills, and as you're going, the terrain continues to change. It stops being vibrant, lush green kind of grasslands near the coastline, and it slowly becomes rocky, and the grass becomes dead and broken. Parts of it look burned, like a wildfire kind of tore through there recently, and as you get closer, it's not actually burned. That's just kind of the coloration. It looks like the life has been sort of sucked out of the ground itself. Corin, as you're getting closer and closer towards the withering, it feels kind of like to you like the ground is almost like the life, the plants and everything is basically dying. That innate connection that you kind of have, it feels sick all around you. It's almost nauseating to kind of walk through, and as you're doing this, you can't help but think back to when very recently you realized that you had a new power that does something very similar to plant life. It's almost like it's leaching out of the ground, but instead of going away, it feels like the good is kind of leaching out and becoming sick and corrupt as it goes on. Eventually, you make your way to this small pass in the foothills that you were told to meet Glyph at. As you approach, you guys don't see anything in the immediate area. Small little, almost looks like a campsite area. That you can tell it looks like maybe it looks like the trail kind of ends here, sort of thing. It has good protection from the wind. There's a couple fallen bits of timber that look like they've rotted out and died, but could probably sit on and rest up on for the time being.
No, I don't want to touch anything.
Okay.
I would rather like take out my bedroll and just sit on the ground.
Okay. So what do you guys want to do while you're waiting?
Anybody got any cards?
Skylar probably has 6 sets.
But they're all candy cards.
Yeah.
I think I have something. Hold on.
Rolla?
Wait, Skylar, are you bringing all that candy with you? We're gonna get eaten.
Well, I could put it in the
her
chest in the
quiver.
hole.
It's
Okay.
in the other quiver.
Yeah.
Everyone be quiet.
All right. So there's like withered plant life and everything.
Yeah, you guys are like right on the edge of the like basically you've come up to these foothills that kind of mark the boundary line of the withering, and at the top of the hills you kind of see plant life that's growing a lot more than you've seen so far, but it looks twisted and kind of deformed. There's like trees with large spikes that are growing off of it and stuff like that. Where you guys are at, which is probably a good like half mile away from there, down the foothills, like maybe between like a quarter and a half mile away where you're at, the plant life looks dead. It looks like the energy's kind of sucked out of it. Here and there's little shoots of kind of like deformed and twisted plant life, but it's not overgrown. You kind of get that feeling like you're right on the cusp.
Okay.
I take out my glaive and straight up decapitate some plant.
Excuse me?
And I will.
I'm very frustrated.
Okay.
With my I have my goggles also act as like eyes of minute seeing. And so I will scientifically investigate some plants to check out the cellular structure just for funsies.
Okay. All right.
You don't have to walk me through that. I'm just
No.
you all
That's
know
fine.
that's what I'm doing.
That's fine. So Nyessa, as you're sitting there, taking a couple practice swings, you find a couple small trees that look like they were trying to grow through, and you, as you bring your glaive down and kind of swing through them, they shatter, like just and crumple almost. Whatever is left on the ground, it breaks more than it cuts, basically. It looks dried out and desiccated and just like if you threw it on a fire, it'd be gone like in half a second. For Roland, you do kind of take a second to look at them, and you kind of see much the same thing. It's more than just that they're dried out. It's that energy life kind of seems to have been sucked out of them. They're brittle, they're powdery, they're just falling apart. As the second or third swing kind of lands into half-dead vegetation, you hear kind of a gruff voice that speaks up from behind you, Nessa. It says, once we get further in the blight, I wouldn't want to do that too much.
Just getting it out now.
Yeah, well, why don't you rein it in a little bit? You don't want to go disturbing things, because once we cross over, it starts biting back.
Noted.
I'm guessing, being all the way the hell out here in this forsaken place, you're the ones that Kodal sent over?
That we are.
Alright. Name's Glyph. Gonna be taking you in, I guess. I'll try and make it across as fast as we can. I don't want you being in there any longer than you have to. First things first, I need... Show me your fingers, all of you.
Take off my gloves. Show him the fingers.
Alright, he kind of just like glances over and he says, alright. Well, we'll try and keep him that way. Alright, Code will talk to you about payment.
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, I would. Yes.
Okay. What do you have to offer? I mean, are we talking trade? It's a bit more exciting to me than money. Anything that might make, my trips out here a bit more useful or pass the time a little bit better.
Question to the party OOC. I have a transportation bead. Why? Who had the other one?
Oh,
You
that was
found
probably
it.
the Feywild?
No, you found that in the Silverbeard's temple.
Yeah, Marcus had it, and then he
That
gave it
long
away.
ago?
Actually, I think that
Transportation bead.
what's his name?
It's the one that you like crush and it like
Yeah, but
shoots you
but
away.
it wasn't before Marcus had it. I think
Flint had it,
Flint
and then
had
he gave
it,
it
gave it to
to
Marcus.
and then Marcus
Marcus
gave
gave
it
it up.
away.
Yeah.
I guess to you.
Does it take you to the other transportation bead that
No.
isn't?
You break it and it transports you a certain distance.
Well, seeing as how you're in such a dangerous environment all the time, I have this transportation bead that works like this, the way that I just said to explain that you did the explaining, that I explained that.
He kind of gets a bit of a very interested look on his face as he kind of puts the gloved hand out and kind of picks it up and rolls it around in his fingers and looks at it. Oh, that'll do. And he puts it in. Says, move quick. We'll get in as far as we can. Make camp at night. We don't move at all during the night. Well, you lot won't. And then continue on in the morning. If we keep our heads down, stay level-headed, and avoid anything in here, we might make it across in 2.5, 3 days tops.
Understood.
All right, let's go. And with that, you guys follow him up the hill. As you crest over into the Blight, cresting the top of the hill and getting your first look, even Kaylee, you've never been this far, getting your first look at the Blight, it is disheartening, to say the least. It is, you see what looks like a forest off to the north a little ways. All the trees look almost stone, like most of them are fallen down and broken, but they look petrified. And Corin, if a tree could be frozen in a grimace of pain, that's what those trees look like. It looked like whatever hit them hard, hit them fast, and froze them in that moment of just dying and death. What lays before you, there's a lake off to the south a little ways that looks like some kind of mixture of like rust-colored water. You see shapes kind of churning the surface of it a little bit. All sorts of nasty kind of algae grows up on the banks. There doesn't look like, from what you can see, it doesn't look like there's a place that you want to touch anywhere around in the immediate area. Coming up over the top of the hill, Skylar, your first instinct is to just stop breathing because you know you can hold your breath indefinitely. The smell is just noxious. It's almost chemically. It smells like the inside of for Nyessa, it smells like some of the laboratories that you passed in the Arcane University. Just that something not right mixed with like death and decay. It's upsetting. Most of your immediate reaction is to just turn around and leave. Like you immediately see it, and your foot stops. I mean, as much as you guys have seen, you've been in the Feywild, everything like that. You have this just like pit of your stomach pull to just turn around and go back the way that you came. Glyph, without even giving you guys a second glance, just walks on. And that's where we're going to call the session tonight.